Hello and welcome to Talking Golf with Gary. This week, the dynamic Gary will introduce you to all kinds of topics pertinent to this past week of golf. He'll give you some tidbits of information as what's coming up and take you on a tour around the world for all of the golfing highlights. Sit back and enjoy Talking Golf with Gary.
And hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Golf with Gary. Hope everybody had a terrific week out there. Well, it seems crazy, but the major season is done. We've had all four majors now. The Masters, the U.S. Open, the PGA Championship. And now, finally, the Open champion has been crowned. And now we prepare and get ready to roll into the FedEx Cup playoffs. It's cut down now. Remember, there's only 3 tournaments this year instead of the 4. So that's going to be cut back. Different scoring system is going to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all works out. But busy week. Lots of stuff coming out of Ireland on the Open Championship. And I don't know if you caught it, but I was up at I was up at 2 a.m. Watching the last final round. But I stayed up to watch some of the beginnings of the first couple of rounds, and then got a couple hours sleep and woke up and caught a lot of the action. And from the end of the third round, the fate of the 2019 Open Championship would first be decided by one man, and that man was Shane Lowry. While the Irishman didn't play flawless golf on Sunday, his lead was never less than 3 strokes en route to his first major championship. Now, the weather had turned. Weather got a little shaky. But man, he was steady. He shot a 1 over par, but everybody else seemed to fall apart. And he had tens of thousands of fans in Ireland cheering him on. He shot a final round 72, the win by 6 strokes over Tommy Fleetwood at Royal Portrush. It's his second win on the PGA Tour and will vault him back into the top 20 in the world ranking. While it was never close in score, I got to tell you, when it first started, it looked like it was going to tighten up because he did not get off to the best start. His first tee shot of the day hooked left into the rough. He bogeyed the first hole while Fleetwood made par, and it made it all the more real. And Lowry had to take a deep breath and began playing again. But this was always his tournament to win. The 32-year-old won the Irish Open as an amateur 1 decade ago, proceeded to play the next 6 holes in 3 under, calming all remaining emotions of the nervous crowd. Lowry reached 18 under for the tournament before some sloppy driving cut his lead to 4 once again on the back 9. To be fair, the weather conditions had become the worst of the week. Rain spewed down on the field. Wind howled stronger than 20 miles per hour. Gusts approached 30 miles per hour. And this is what they said was going to happen all week, and it never did. It did happen finally in the final round. Lowry would hit just one of his next 6 fairways and make 4 bogeys in the process, dropping his score to 14 under. But his lead remained. In fact, Fleetwood made 3 bogeys during that stretch as well, so Lowry's lead actually grew to 5 strokes. No other players made significant runs at the top of the leaderboard, and I think that's the big story. In fact, much of the early contenders backed up far from Lowry. Struggling in the win, J.P. Holmes shot at 87 from the penultimate group. Tony Finau's even par 71 pushed him into a solo 3rd place finish, his career best at a major. Lowry made his final bird of the championship, his 2030 Open, on the 15th. He finished par for the 6-shot win. Back at his home club of Eska Hills, some 180 miles south of Portrush, the party was in waiting. It is no doubt there'll be plenty of partying going on in Ireland and at that golf club for the next few weeks, because they were excited to have one of their own, Shane Lowry, win the Open Championship. And congratulations to him. He deserved it. He played the best. He didn't let the demons, the stress, the mental anxiety get to him in the final round. Even when the weather turned sour, he played the toughest, and everybody else was just kind of... It was a little disappointing in a way, because I thought somebody might go after him. But, that happens sometimes in these majors, that the leader may not play well, but plays just good enough to hang on. And, nobody really goes after him. And that was the case with Lowry. But he really built a big lead and really deserved to win. So congratulations to him. And congratulations to Jim Herman, who rode President Donald Trump's putting advice to victory Sunday in the alternate PGA Tour's Barbasol Championship. Taking advantage of playing partner Kelly Craft's two late bogeys, Herman finished with a 2-under 70 for a one-stroke victory at Keene Trace in Kentucky. A shot ahead with 3 to play, Kraft bogeyed the par 3 16th and par 4 17th in a closing 70. Trump's regular golf partner, while working as an assistant professional at Trump National Bedminster in New Jersey, Herman changed to a conventional putting grip and club head at the president's suggestion following a recent round. The putter cooled off a bit on Sunday after Herman opened with rounds of 65, 65, and 62, but he did just enough to edge Kraft, who shot 61 on Saturday for Herman's second PGA Tour title. Encouraged by Trump to pursue a playing career, the 41-year-old Herman won the 2016 Shell Houston Open for his lone tour title, a victory that also followed a friendly round with Trump. I think I need to see him again soon. Herman sit on the 18th green after a winning tap-in par. He motivates me and puts me in a good spot. Herman received a spot in the PGA Championship, but not in the Masters. Sepp Straka was third at 23 under after a 66. Matt Jones and Austin Cook followed at 22 under. Cook had a tour record 5 birdies in the event. So congratulations to Jim Herman winning his second PGA Tour title after an outing with his old friend Donald Trump. President Donald Trump. And let's move on to the ladies. They were in action this week, and it was a team event. It was the Dow Great Lakes Bay Invitational, and Sydney Clanton and Jasmine Suwanapura ran away with the tournament, shooting an 11 under 59 in best ball play for a 6-stroke victory. Clinton and Sawanapura took a 5-shot lead into the final round after shooting an alternate shot 63 on Friday at Midland Country Club in the LPGA Tour's first-year team event. They finished at 27 under 253. Sawanapura won her second tour title and Clanton her first. Clanton earned spots the next 2 weeks in the Evian Championship and the Women's British Open. The first Auburn University player to win on the tour, she began the season without a full LPGA Tour card after finishing $8 out of the top 100 on the 2018 money list. Clanton is split this time on the LPGA Tour and the developmental Symetra Tour, winning Symetra Tour's El Dorado Shootout in April. Jin Young Ko and Minnie Lee closed with a 58 to finish second. Suwanapura from Thailand also won the Marathon Classic last year. Clanton and Suwanapura each bogeyed the first hole and each had 8 birdies. Sisters Ariana Jutengon and Moria Jutengon tied for third with Na Yin Choi and Jenny Shin at 20 under. They each shot 61. Canadians Brooke Henderson and Elena Sharp were fifth at 19 under after a 61. So congratulations to those two young ladies, Sydney Clanton and Jasmine Suwanapura, who won the Dow Great Lakes Bay Invitational, a new event on the ladies' tour and a team event. They each get a credit as a victory, so that's pretty cool. All right, that's the recap of all this weekend's action in the world of golf, and we've got more news for you when we come back, but we're going to take a very, very quick break and come back right after this.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com.
All right, and we're back, and with the latest news in the world of golf, you know, there was a lot of stuff going on at the Open Championship, and not always nice stuff. We think of golf as such a genteel sport, but sometimes it can get a little nasty. And after Xander Schauffele's driver failed a random RNA test earlier in the week, the 25-year-old expressed some discontent with the process. I had a little run-in with them, Schauffele said, because they only test 30 players. I thought it was a bit unfair. I would gladly give up my driver if it's not conforming. But there's still 130 other players in the field that potentially have a non-conforming driver as well. And somehow his name got leaked out there by the RNA. So that was another reason he was a little bit ticked at that. For the second consecutive year, the Open Championship's governing body conducted testing of 30 random drivers to ensure club heads stay within the legal limits. Tiger Woods was among those whose driver was tested, though he confirmed that his head had been deemed legal. In 2018, RNA Chief Executive Martin Slumbers, don't know if that's a good name for a chief executive, Slumbers. I hope he doesn't give a lot of speeches, but said none of the 30 drivers violated testing limits, which essentially measures the spring-like effect of the driver club face. The CT test measures characteristic time, the measurement of a driver's rebound effect via a tiny spring-loaded pendulum device impacting the face of a driver. Schauffele was the only golfer to publicly announce that his driver had failed a test earlier in the week. He also said that he made his displeasure known afterwards with the RNA. As we said, he proposed to them a more equitable process. What's the fair thing to do? Just test the whole field. It's plain and simple, Schauffele said. You test everyone. It's as simple as that. Schauffele was the only name that was let out by the RNA, which ticked him off even more, as I said. Multiple sources told Golf Digest that Schauffele was not the only player with a driver issue. At least 2 and possibly 3 equipment manufacturers other than Callaway had clubs deemed non-conforming. And yet his name was the only one got out. And I think that's where his, that not only did he get checked and that steamed him, but I think his name slipping out there was not right as well. Well, Kyle Stanley and rookie Bob McIntyre won't be sharing dinner anytime soon after an etiquette issue at the Open Championship. Stanley hit a shot that hit went into the crowd and that hit McIntyre's caddy's mother's hand on the bounce, and McIntyre claims Stanley didn't yell four. Stanley wasn't happy with McIntyre's version of events because he felt it left out key details. I hit a ball right on 17 yesterday. You had a hard wind off the left, Stanley said. After I hit, several people on the tee box yelled four. My two playing partners, my caddy, a couple of the volunteers, the marshals, even had them signaling it was going right. Everyone to the right, they knew it was coming. Stanley continued, I'm not really sure why he decided to make such an issue about it. I know the ball hit his caddy's mom's hand off the bounce, and that's unfortunate, but as far as I'm concerned, a number of people yelled four. He made the argument that since I hit the ball, it should have come out of my mouth first. I guess I can see that, but it's unfortunate it ended up the way it did. It certainly was my intention to put anyone in harm's way. I don't know. Come on. I think that's much ado about nothing. I mean, sometimes you hit the ball, you see it going to the right, you might point, you may not yell right away. But as Cal Stanley said, there was other people, a whole bunch of people yelling for. I don't know. What's your take on that? It was covered. I mean, it was yelled. He pointed. Other people pointed. I think that was covered enough. So, but it did come out. So we're here to report on it. And something else happened with Tiger and Phil this weekend. It never happened before. For the first time in their careers, neither Phil Mickelson nor Tiger Woods made the cut at a major championship. It's the first time in 83 majors in which both have started, but neither made the cut, according to a stat shared on the NBC Golf Channel telecast. And that's an amazing stat. They played 83 major championships together. This is the first time that both of them didn't make the cut. They're both older now, too. They're both Geebs, not where they were. Tiger's physical being is not what it was. He needs to play more, but with his body and health situation, can he play more? Phil is 49 years old, and you just lose certain things as you get older. So, this may be a trend more than an aberration, but we'll see. They've been known to surprise before. And continue talking about Tiger Woods. It came out that he will reportedly compete with Rory McIlroy, Hideki Matsuyama, and Jason Day in a skins game in Japan around the same time of this fall's Zozo Championship on the PGA Tour. The game will happen on October 21st at Accordia Golf Narashino Country Club, according to ESPN. The one-day competition, which will offer lucrative prize money, will take place a few days prior to the start of the Zozo Championship, a new PGA Tour event being played outside of Tokyo, where Woods will also compete. So look for that. Some new little skins game. We used to see that a lot around Thanksgiving every year. Used to be a skins game that was pre-taped and played on Thanksgiving. We haven't seen that in years, and I wish they'd get back to that because it kind of broke up the monotony when there was no golf around, and of course, when I was young, back in the silent movie theater era, I should say. We used to have the Shell's Wonderful World of Golf, and there was another one, CBS Golf Challenger, I think it was called. I forget the name. But where they would had some big names playing head to head against one another, and it was great to watch those matches. And we just don't they don't do that kind of stuff anymore. But maybe they'll get back to it. Who knows? Now with the Golf Channel and all these tours and whatnot that and they go to play in Europe, um, it has made the game change a little bit. It's stuff that they didn't do in the past because it just wasn't worth it to go play at the British Open or anything like that, and unless you were going for the titles, the Triple Crown or whatever. I just watched an interview recently with Don January, and he never went to play the Open Championship because it just wasn't worth it. Sam Snead very rarely went because at one point in time it was not. You lost money. The prize money was so bad over there that didn't go. Really was Arnold Palmer that really kicked it off. Ben Hogan went once. And the only reason Hogan went was because he had a chance, I believe that year he had a chance for the Grand Slam. And so he went, and he won. But he did not win the Grand Slam. That was Bobby Jones is the only one to have won that. All right, unless you count the Tiger Slam. But he didn't win it in the same calendar year. Okay. Let's take one more break, and we shall have the calendar, if I can find it. It's here somewhere. And we'll be back after this.
Sponsor an ad on the podcast. Support our show and let people know about your business. Email us today.
516-362-0443. That is the Talking Golf Hotline. If you've got a question, a comment, or want to leave a voicemail, say hi. That's the number to call, 516-362-0443. Or if you'd like to leave an email, you can email the show at talkinggolf@gmail.com.
Now it's time to do the calendar. Now it's time to do the calendar. Oh, hooray, let's sing the calendar. Now it's time to do the calendar.
Okay, and on the calendar for next week, another busy week and another alternate tournament going on the PGA Tour. Let's kick it off with them. It is the FedEx St. Jude Invitational World Golf Championship, and Justin Thomas defends in that one. And the alternate tournament is the Barracuda Championship, and Andrew Putnam is defending in that tournament. On the Champions Tour, yes, they're back in action. It is the Senior Open Championship. They are over in Great Britain, I believe they're playing that. And it's the Senior Open Championship. Miguel Angel Jimenez is the defending title holder in that event on the PGA Champions Tour. And the European Tour, of course, they'll still be here playing the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. So that's counted on their tournament as well, on their schedule as well. The LPGA Tour is in action, and as I said earlier, they are holding the Evian Championship, which I believe is a major. I have to check that. I believe that's a major for the ladies tour. And Angela Stanford is the defending champion in that one. And that's the calendar for next week. I hope you'll check it out on television. Check out all the ones and watch some golf. One other bit of news And next week, it's supposed to be this week, I rescheduled for next week, we will have an interview with Mr. Barney Adams, the founder of Adams Golf. And also, he's got a new, he sold that in 2012. He has a new enterprise that he's doing. And we're going to talk about that. He came up with this putter shaft now. We're going to talk all about that and about his career and everything. So that'll be on next week's show. So be sure to check it out. It's just a lot to put on this week's show. I didn't want to make this a real long show. So check that out next week. Barney Adams, founder of Golf's company, Adams Golf Company, will be here and interviewed. He won't be here live, but he'll be on tape. So please be sure to check that out next week. And that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank you all for listening and watching. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, Spreaker, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you listen or watch the podcast. Hit the subscribe button. That helps me grow the show and expand to new listeners. And until next time, remember, as you walk down the fairway of life, you must smell the roses, for you only get to play one round. Have a great week, everybody, and I'll see you next time on the next edition of Talking Golf with Gary.